to fighting off the minorities' rights, values and beliefs. So it's very saddening. It is an agrarian country, economy. Basically, India is an agricultural country. But now it is becoming a corporate country. What happened to our farmers? They were sitting in the hot summer, bitter cold and the rains for 1 year because of your Farm Acts. And you repealed it only because of the 5 state elections. Anybody would accept that it is not out of concern towards the farmers. That too, after they sacrificed 700 lives. The government should have been empathetic, not even sympathetic, empathetic. When you say, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, that we should be respect and reverence towards one fellow man, the government's duty is to protect and save every life of this citizen in this country. Whereas 700 lives were lost during that struggle. But the government at last repealed that too without a discussion in the House. But what is the result? Are they happy about it? Yesterday, the Samyukta Kisan Morcha, who have fought for the farmers, have given a press release. Government betrays farmers once again. Budget exposes empty promises of government on MSP and doubling farmers' income. Because the government said we would increase the farmers' income by 200%. But now it is not so. They said by 2022. We have reached 2022, but the farmers' income have not been increased. Their inputs costs have increased. The DAP and urea, which was 1,300, is now 2,000 rupees. Which was 700 rupees is 1,500 rupees, whereas the MSP has not been increased. The producer, see, basically 80% of the country are basically agriculturists. During the economic recession, India survived only because of 2 things. One is public sector and the other is agriculture sector. Even during the COVID pandemic, India had food sufficiency because of our agriculture, but you are killing it. So also the public sector. See, you are giving 5G to the private sector, but not 4G, even 4G to BSNL and MTNL. It is a silent way of killing the public sector, BSNL and MTNL. So everyone would migrate from BSNL to the private sector when they are, of course, when everyone is living in a digital world, we are for 5G, whereas they are not even able to provide 4G. They have enough infrastructure. The infrastructure of the BSNL is being utilized by other private networks.
You're right.
But you are giving them 5G, so what is your intention actually? You are patting them like anything. The LIC, which has got an asset of 34 lakh crores, and which is, of course, sharing its profit to its policyholders. It gives dividend to government, but you are going to kill it. You take the money that only policyholders are protected only by LIC, and you are going to take the money and fulfill the pockets of the corporates. So what is going on in this country? See, India is said to become the youngest country. The largest democracy is going to be the youngest country in the world. In what sense? 64% of its population is going to come under the working age group. What are the plans you have got? When you introduced the Make in India program, you said that 5 crore people are employed, we will make it 10 crore. But now it is 2.5 crore. You are assuring yesterday in the budget that we will give 60 lakh jobs in 5 years. That is 12 lakh jobs in 1 year. And the finance minister very happily says it is a blueprint for 25 years. And Prime Minister comes and says about it is for 100 years. Sir, what are they talking and to whom they are talking? The poor are becoming poorer. The rich are becoming richer. The richer are now becoming corporates. That is what we witness in this country now. See, the numbers very clearly say, according to the numbers released by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, on 14th January 2022, not much earlier, the provisional annual rate of inflation is 13.56% for the month of December 2021, whereas in 2020 it was only 1.95%. It is their statistics. This is the inflation condition. Essential commodities are hiking. People's income is not there. And your way of handling many things, people are suffering. They don't have jobs. How are you going to meet the unemployment? You don't address those issues. Whereas you are talking something else. You are patronizing the corporates. And so also the inflation is borne by whom? The middle class and the lower sections. What happened to the MSME? When it was crumbling and when expected a dire need of a boosting, it suffered a severe blow because of demonetization and the hasty implementation of GST. And the states surrendered their sovereignty of collecting taxes. But the promise that was given by the union government that it would give its due share to the government has not yet been. The due share has not yet been. Many states, even my state is coming and asking. Many states, the representatives here would know that the GST share from the due from the government has not reached them. Then what are you doing with the collected money? You are only waiving the NPAs of corporates. See, an ordinary poor student who gets an education loan, if he doesn't pay after a few years, is being harassed. He is brought under NPA, is brought under CIBIL, and they say you cannot claim any loan across India in any bank, anywhere. So a poor boy who gets a 4 lakh loan who is not able to return that is being harassed, whereas corporates who have got thousands of crores of rupees are being waived means what is the policy this government is adopting? That's what I said. You are tapping the poor and patting the rich. This is not a socialist country. You are scared of many words, as leader of opposition said. You are scared of many names and many words. Socialism, secularism, federalism, you are all scared of all those words. Sir, these are all very, very important things. We are not just accusing, alleging charges. These are what is happening in this country. When a government is elected, its duty is to take the country forward than it was. But it is dragging it backwards. India, which is thickly populated, and the people mostly who are young and who are poor are not being taken care of. So what is the future? So, sir, and I have to highlight some three important things. See, in my state, Tamil Nadu, fishermen, the plight of fishermen is a continuous process. It is second what we are talking today. On 31st of this month, January, 21 fishermen from Nagapattinam and Puducherry have been arrested by the Sri Lankan Navy. 3 boats have been seized. Already 68 have been arrested, and thanks to the intervention or initiation of our Chief Minister, Mr. M.K. Stalin, and of course the External Affairs Minister, they have been released, but we are waiting for repatriation. And now these 21 fishermen and 3 boats are seized, and we do not know the condition, what is going to happen. So all through the year, fishermen, when they are imprisoned in Sri Lanka, their families are languishing here. So we have been suggesting the union government has to find a permanent solution for this. Yesterday also, our leader, Mr. Stalin, has written a letter, find a solution to this. You cannot just every time they will arrest, we will go have a talk. So let the fishermen's issue has to be settled very fast. You give priorities to such issues. You are not doing that. Rather, you are attempting to encroach the powers of the state. You have got an aversion towards some region, some languages, anti-lingual, anti-region. India is famous for multi-diversity in its unity and diversity. But it is not in practice. Some languages are totally dispensed of. Hindi is being imposed this way and that way. I even represented to the Home Minister with a genuine representation that in CRPF, for non-paramedical staff, just table boys, sweepers and cooks, the qualification is 10th standard, but the examination is only in Hindi and English. You cannot expect a student from a non-Hindi speaking state who has studied just up to 10th standard to appear in English. So what we suggested, let all these examinations should be at least in regional languages, if at all.
Constitution.
As per.
Recognized by the Constitution.
Recognize in the 8th schedule of the Constitution, 22 languages are there. Do that in that. So you have to not just in lip service you say we support, we encourage other language. No, you are actually killing other languages. So that was another thing we put them. See the Republic Day parade, a very ceremony which all are celebrating, and especially this is the 75th year. And all the years, all the states will not get representation, we are aware of that, but this is a special 75th year. The Tamil Nadu government gave 7 designs. The theme was Tamil Nadu's participation in the freedom struggle. There were 4 rounds of scanning by an expert committee. They say that it's an expert committee. Expert committee has not come down from the sky. It's only constituted by you. The committee constituted by you drafted the national education policy, which was not accepted by even the academicians. So also this expert committee, 3 stages it approved. We have given the history of Rani Velu Nachiyar, the first ever queen who won back her territory which was lost to the British. Everyone has lost and have died. But she was the only person who regained the territory which she lost to the British. And so also Bharadiyar, everyone knows, a patriotic poet. And V.O. Chidambaram, who first launched this Swadeshi steam navigation. And Marudhu brothers, who helped Velu Nachiyar. See, all these things were not approved, saying that it is unacceptable. Where can we go and say? So I was watching the Republic Day parade on TV. Oh, anything better would have been there. But I saw only saffron-clad saints walking and on the tableau. Why are you rejecting us? It has been happening for long that South Indian, especially Tamil Nadu, the patriots or anyone, is not recognized. Why all these years? Again, the Chief Minister wrote to the Prime Minister himself. Sir, take care, please. It's very important. They didn't allow. But there is a proverb. Just because concealing a comb, you cannot stop the marriage. So you didn't accept our proposal in the Republic Day parade. What our Chief Minister did, you know? He just arranged the rally of the same tableau across Tamil Nadu, everywhere, all the districts. It goes to every street. It reaches the rural areas. So had it been here, it would have been for some minutes. Now it is going on for days, telling our people all these things. See, I have even spoken in this house that the untold stories of these people who have been hidden in history should be taught in the schools. Only one more point, sir. Another of my colleague would speak later with some points. I got only one more. Sir, another, in the recent amendments that have been done in the IAS cadre, All India Services cadre, the government has done. What it has done? As it was earlier in existence, hereafter it won't be. What? The central government, without the consent of the state government, can call any IAS, IPS, IOFS officer to its service. Sir, this is again transgressing into the rights of the states. Correct. How can you do that? On whose authority? It's a federal country. Did you consult any of these people, any of the states? No. There is a group of former officers of the All India Service, around 100 have given a very clear statement. They have said, in the federal structure of the Union of India, the Union and the states exist as distinct and separate entities, though they work in tandem to subserve common constitutional objectives. Maintaining this balance is critical to good governance. Sir, they came to power saying minimum government, maximum governance. But now the government is maximum, governance is very minimal.
No governance.
No governance. He knows better. The proposed amendments to the cadre rules of all the 3 AIS, All India Services, seek to working the state to be withdrawn from the services in the state of the allotment, hits at the very core of the constitutional scheme of Indian federalism. So this is not a creation of the executive, this All India Service. It is by the constitution itself. Their experience in the state would help. But if at all you take them here, they would be serving only the center and they would lose interest in the states. And the states would also hereafter will suspect the All India Service officers. They would rely more on their own selected state officers. This is not an indication of federalism. This is not good at all. Whatever you do is snatching. You enact draconian laws. With UAPA, you put under, you imprison the social activities and minorities, and so also taking away the rights. So simply, I would like to sum up with only one thing. What is going on in this country after this party has taken up assumed power, and the President also has addressed, I could simply say that democracy is in peril. Secularism is at stake. Federalism is targeted. State rights encroached and transgressed. Economy shattered. Minorities unsafe. Public sectors crushed. This is the experience of us, nothing else. I will just say only one thing. Our Anna, founder Anna, said, when he spoke in the same house, carry on, but remember.
From your seat. He spoke from where
you're
sitting.
Great. Thanks, Mr. Jairam Ramesh said that from where I am speaking now, because the COVID was the place where my founder leader Anna was speaking. He said, carry on, but remember. Carry on. People have given you a mandate, but remember, the people are watching you. 2 years after, they will teach you a lesson. All those who are suffering will say what they have to. Yadi in kannir, kuriya vaadai ukku, in Tamil. The tears of the poor is much sharper than the sword. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Member Dr. K. Keshav Rao ji, not present. Honourable Member Shri Bikash Ranjan Bhattacharya ji. Gallery 4. Yes, please.
This is the matter relating to special mentioning.
No, this is your speech. You're supposed to speak on the discussion of motion of thanks on the President's address. You have 9 minutes. You are listed to speak.
Yes, Chairman sir, I'm really honored to get this opportunity to speak on the motion. I thank the Honourable President to take the trouble to come to the House to address the joint session. But I really cannot support the motion after hearing the mover and the seconder of the motion. The mover and the seconder of the motion has made their ideas very clear about what is the perception of the presidential address. I was hearing the chanting of a particular name, which makes me apprehensive of a situation which I have heard in 1930s, in a particular period of time, when a particular person was projected to be the hero of the world, ruler of the world, best person in the world, and everybody was made to say, "Head that man." Here we really hear the same sound. That creates the danger. And that danger is reflected in the speech of the Honourable President. Here the Honourable President does not speak of the basic realities of our country. The basic realities of our country is completely different than the rosy picture which has been sought to be projected by the deliberations of the Honourable President. You will not find why the Kisans of the country had to sit 1 year and then the acts were repealed. Most surprisingly, those acts which were passed by both the houses of the Parliament, it was repealed on the Man Ki Baat. It was not even discussed in the cabinet before repealing. Is it really the democratic process? We want to know what had happened in the meantime. Why could a particular gentleman, honoring the chair of the Prime Minister of India, on his own could decide to repeal the act which were passed by both houses without having proper discussion in the House? This relates to basic question of Indian democratic system. I will refer to that later. Now I find everybody is very much worried about the COVID situation. Does really the vaccination answers all the problem of the COVID situation? The COVID situation has ruined our country and the poverty has increased. More than 33 crores of people have gone down the below poverty line. Is there any reference to that? How could it be recovered? Nothing is mentioned. And ultimately, it is unfortunate that they are claiming that they have given food to everybody. But I know because of a particular case before the Honorable Supreme Court, the Honorable Supreme Court directed the government to run the community kitchen so that the food, cooked food, can be provided to the poorest of the poor people. That itself indicates that the so-called claim of feeding 80 crores of people is only on papers. In reality, you have to go down to them, you have to think of opening the community kitchen, which has been set an example by the students and youth of West Bengal. They have shown how the poor people can be kept feeding with the cooked food during this crisis. Now we have already seen there are international reports which does not get any reflection in the President's deliberation. International report says that inequality in India has increased, widened up much during this period. More than 50% of the world's poor people belong to India. How do you address this? What is your scheme? How do you think that we can really recover these people and bring them above the poverty line? There are countries in the world who have been successful to bring all people above the poverty line, which you have no scheme to speak of. 80% of the Indian household has suffered income loss. What is your scheme? How do you think that these people could be given the source of income so that they can survive? You all talk of certain things which ultimately enriches the rich people. We have seen, this is the international report which has been referred by Oxfam and the economist Piketty's report, that the maximization of the profit during this period has gone in favor of few families. And few Indians have really got their place in the highest billionaires in the world, and the majority of the Indian has gone down the below poverty line. What is your plan? This is really lacking. We have seen that this inequality, if it is not addressed to, the Indian democracy is definitely going to suffer a lot. And to ensure that these people do not suffer, you are taking recourse to absolute oppressive measures. You are trying to destroy the Indian federal structure. I repeat, when 2014 people gave you mandate not to extol an individual's fame and favor. People gave you mandate to ensure that you carry out the constitutional dictums. You have to fulfill the constitutional dreams. Now we find, in the name of fulfilling constitutional dreams, you are destroying the secular structure of the country. You are hailing that you could build up Ram Mandir. Is this the duty of the Prime Minister of a secular country? That he will go to Ram Mandir, he will go to Kashi Vishwanath and appeal to the people, follow your Hindu culture, and thereby you create hatred against the minority community of the country? Democracy did not thought of this. Kindly go to the debate at the Constituent Assembly, we will find that it was the responsibility of the state and the government to ensure complete freedom, free from any fairness, to the minority community. Now, in the name of 125th years of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, you have a statue over there in India Gate. Welcome the statue. But you do not welcome the philosophy of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose not only had said that the minorities would be respected, they should be given equal share, he had practiced it. And have you practiced it? By only installing a statue, you cannot really deny the philosophy of the man. If you really want to show respect, please follow the philosophy of the person. I can give an example. while he was the Chief Executive Officer, Municipal Corporation, Kolkata, he had found that there was no Muslim representation in the employment. He made it compulsory that more than 50% of the employment should go to the Muslims because they are part of the country. He had never thought that the minority communities, whether Muslim, Christian or Jains, they are anti-national. They are more national than any so-called Hindus. And that was the philosophy which was preached by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. And unfortunately, this basic fabric when under attack does not get any reflection in the presidential address. We have seen there are hate speech. There are congregations where from open declaration of genocide is given. And our Prime Minister has not uttered a single word condemning that hatred speech. And if this is the person whom we resorted our responsibility to run the country, we think that we are in danger. Therefore, these governments should come out very clearly. Why should the Supreme Court or the High Court to intervene and ask that initiate action? Why would not the administration on its own take proactive action? Sir, you will be shocked and surprised to know that one of the student leaders who has been charge-sheeted, one of the journalists from a minority community has been charge-sheeted because he knows much better. The charge sheet says that you are a knowledgeable person, you know much, therefore you have a right to mislead the people and you go to the jail. Is this the democracy?
Honourable Member, your time allotted has completed. Will you conclude?
Sir, I will take just 1 minute.
You have one more speaker. So
I just take 1 minute. I would only quote from our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. We should remember every time his views and ideas about Indian democracy and secularism. He said, we have definitely accepted democratic process. Why have we accepted it? Well, for a variety of reasons. Because we think that in the final analysis, it promotes the growth of human beings. I repeat, it promotes the growth of human beings and of society. Because, as we have said in our constitution, we attach great value to individual freedom. Because we want the creative and adventurous spirit of man to grow. It is not enough for us, really, to produce the material goods of the world. We do want high standards of living, but not at the cost of man's creative spirit,
please.
His creative energy, his spirit of adventure.
One sec.
Not at the cost of all these fine things of life.
Honourable Member.
2 lines.
There's a point of order.
Yes.
Yes, please. Under which rule, please?
238, some of the rules, some of the statements made by the honourable member, they are very treasonous, disparaging an entire community. Can I?
Please,
no,
please.
no.
I'm taking the point of order. Let me take the point of order.
Okay.
Let me take the point of order.
238.
Sir, may I complete my...
Point 7.
Narasimha, what is 238? Which point?
7.7.
Point 7. 238.7.
No, 1 second. 238. Yeah, under 5, sub point 7.
Okay, you have made your point.
Yeah,
we will examine.
He has used defamatory words.
I have
said any minority person belonging to a minority
I have
religion,
noted your point of order.
He is more patriotic than any Hindu.
Honourable Member,
cannot make such an atrocious statement.
You have made your point.
Atrocious, unacceptable. He must apologize for the remark.
You have made your point. Please. He has made a point of order. I have noted it. If there is one second. Let me complete. He has made a point of order. I have noted it. If there is anything that should not be there, will be examined and action be taken.
I just want to add one thing to what Chair has said. Let that be seen what was the quotation of Subhash Chandra Bose, and that should be retained in full.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have just said,
Please conclude. We are about
my
time.
speech.
Yeah, please conclude.
I was just,
you have 10 seconds.
Concluding.
Please. Yeah.
But not at the, I know this will hit somebody's, because of this. because they don't have any idea of
We
the
are at
democratic
2:55. I'll have to
but
close
not
at this point
the
of
cost of
time.
man's creative spirit.
We are already at
His
2:55.
creative energy, his spirit of adventure, not at the cost of all these fine things of life, which have enabled man through ages. Democracy is not merely a question of elections. The question before us is how to combine democracy with socialism
Thank
through
you.
peaceful and legitimate means.
Thank you.
This is the democracy which prompts us to come before this House and which is the obligation of the government to follow.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Member. We'll now go on to special mentions. The discussion will continue tomorrow. Only tomorrow, yes. So
My
you will
name
be
is-
the first, yes.
Yeah.
You'll be
My
the
name
first
is-
person to speak as per the schedule. Manya
Please,
Thamizharan.
must not be changed tomorrow. Allow me first to speak.
Yes, yes. You're on the schedule. You are the first person tomorrow. Yes. Thank you. We'll be going on to special mentions due to a lack of time. We'll be closing at 3. We will not be taking the details. You just have to mention that you are laying it on the table of the House. Yeah. Once, Shri Kailash Soni ji. माननीय सोनी जी सिर्फ सब्जेक्ट मैटर आप ले कर रहे हैं ऑन द हाउस डिस्कशन नहीं इस पे डिटेल्स आप नहीं जाएंगे ठीक है प्लीज ले करिए
मैं मध्य प्रदेश के माननीय उपसभापति जी मैं मध्य प्रदेश के तात्कालिक अत्यावश्यक विषय पर जो हमारे रासायनिक खाद की तत्काल आवश्यकता है उसके संदर्भ में विषय पटल पर रखता हूं
धन्यवाद प्रोफेसर मनोज कुमार झा जी यस
शुक्रिया वाइस चेयरमैन साहब जस्ट सब्जेक्ट लाइन ही लेकिन चूंकि विषय अति महत्वपूर्ण अगर इजाजत है
अगर आप बोलेंगे तो दूसरे लोगों को मौका
30
नहीं
सेकंड
मिलेगा
30 सेकंड
20 सेकंड भी नहीं हमारे पास समय नहीं है और आप लोग हैं। Only the subject, please.
My subject is demand to define crimes of mob lynching, hate crimes and co-vigilantism because of which the NCRB does not provide data and this is a very serious concern
Thank you.
all over India. Thank you so much.
श्री विकास रंजन भट्टाचार्य जी
Sir, the point is, Chittagong Marmari is one of the significant events of Indian independence war.
प्लीज
Their memorials are being destroyed. I have written to the
Thank
Honourable
you.
Prime Minister. Fund is to be provided.
Thank you. I have
Fund
made your
is to be
point.
provided for restoration.
प्लीज ले आर यू लेइंग या प्लीज ले या श्री नीरज डांगी जी प्लीज ले
थैंक यू सर ये कृषि मंत्रालय भारत सरकार द्वारा तैयार सूखा संबंधित ड्राउट पैनल 2016 को हाल ही में भारत सरकार द्वारा अनिवार्य किया गया था जिसमें कट ऑफ डेट्स जो हैं वो 31 अक्टूबर और
प्लीज ले
अप्रैल महीने की सर ये टेक्स्ट तो एक तो देना ही पड़ेगा
नहीं किसी ने नहीं दिया, किसी
इसमें
को
सर
allow
बस
नहीं किया गया है।
फाइनल लाइन बोल देता हूं मैं
जस्ट ओनली द सब्जेक्ट
फाइनल लाइन इस पीक पीरियड में राहत गतिविधियों की अत्यधिक आवश्यकता रहती है इस कारण इसको बदला जाए इसमें संशोधन किया जाए
थैंक यू डॉक्टर अमर पटनायक जी नॉट प्रेजेंट श्री जीवीएल नरसिम्हा राव जी
Thank you, sir. This special mention is about the sudden outbreak of invasive thrips pest in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, which has caused entire crop loss in the two states. And this submission is to request the central government to speak with both the state governments and provide relief to the people.
Thank you so much. Shri Sujit Kumar ji.
For cotton research in Kalahandi district of Odisha, which is known for producing one of the best long quality cotton in the country.
Please, thank you. Shri Mahesh Poddar ji.
Sir, I would like to request through you to help the 23,000 medical students who are studying in China and they need immediate help because their career is at stake.
Please, thank you. The House stands adjourned to meet at 10:00 hours on Thursday, the 3rd February 2022.